Sometimes humanity's ability to just totally f over another person completely makes me sick. How do these scumbags live with themselves? Look, I am 100% pro-business capitalist. Making money is good, and that's how the world works. But I really hate when crooks steal money from people. Maybe I'm naive, but I'm the type of person that thinks that you should have some basic honor in how you do business. Crush your competition, sure, I agree, that is a must. But don't purposefully lie, cheat, and steal, knowing that your product is going to destroy your customer when you sell it to them. Okay, what exactly am I talking about, and why am I so mad at a select group of lenders that are doing everything they can to harm small businesses during this pandemic? All this and more in today's video. Hello and welcome to Stephen Carlson Show. I'm Stephen Carlson. I'm a tech entrepreneur, real estate investor, author, YouTuber, paramedic, and Bonnie and Clyde are currently eating carrots. Recently, I was approached by a small business lender that promises approval in 1 day and funding in 2. I'm sure you've heard of their ads on radio, received countless spam messages, or probably even seen some of them on the YouTube ads. Sorry, it is what it is. Anyways, they wanted to advertise on my YouTube channel and sponsor the 2022 Open for Business US Small Business Tour. Now, before I agreed to accept their money, I wanted to research them. And when I did, wow, they are some shady. There are multiple different types of loan structures. Some of them are merchant cash advances, other are invoice financing, and some are just direct working capital lenders. No matter what term or structure they use, they are basically all hard money lenders. They're giving you a financial product very quick in exchange for a higher set of fees. It should come as no surprise that these fees are significantly higher than what a bank would charge you. That's obvious. But by itself, that's not really the problem. As a business owner, you are willing to pay a little bit more in fees to get your loan funded quicker. And the lender must charge you a higher interest rate and fees to basically compensate them for the risk of lending you the money so quickly and when they couldn't put the time into due diligence like a bank would do. We all know that, and I really have no issue with the general concept. That is, until I dug deeper into the terms. The problem is some lenders, while very expensive, they're not really that bad of a deal. Others, on the other hand, are downright purposefully setting you up to fail. So let's go over some of the differences so you can figure out if one of these lenders is trying to screw you. Now, before I get into just how bad some of these terms can be and what you need to be on the lookout for, let's go back in time a little bit and look at some of my history with some of these shady lenders, because I know firsthand how horrible some of these companies can be to work with. Back when I was just starting to get AutoCorner off the ground, we were a brand new startup and we were a little short on cash. We were bringing in revenues of, about $750,000 a year. Not bad, but at the same time, it was very hard for us to reinvest this money in hiring more staff so that we could expand our business. We approached banks, but this was just after the 2008 real estate implosion, and banks were extremely strict on lending. And since we were a new startup, it was almost impossible to get the funding that we needed. If you watched my previous video a week ago on getting business lines of credit, you may remember I said that the average line of credit for a new small business is about, say, 10% of your annual revenues, which in this example would be, say, $70,000, $75,000. But as I said, this was just after the real estate crash and banks were just much stricter and they were not lending money out to new businesses. So I went to one of the big names in the small business lending industry. But they only offered me $18,000, nowhere near the estimated $75,000 that I hypothetically would have received from a bank loan. The agent was slick, and he convinced me that this is to get your foot in the door type of loan, and once I've paid this back, I would have a track record with them, and he would be able to lend me much more money next time. The problem was the $18,000 was almost useless to me. Yes, I could use it for a small marketing campaign, but I needed a larger financial commitment before I could go hire, more employees, and that's what I really needed to do. The terms were, well, less than the best in the world, but oddly enough, the total cost of the loan really wasn't the problem. So let's break these down, and you will see where the real scam is. As you see here, the loan was for $18,000. It had $2,417 in fees and interest,
a term of 180 days, weekly payments of $762. And this would mean that I'm paying back $19,595.85 in a 6-month period, with $762 automatically being debited from my business checking account every week. This calculates out to approximately 14% in interest paid out over 6 months. If you annualize that interest rate, you're really paying the equivalent of 28% APR, which is an outrageous interest rate. But oddly enough, that's not really the big problem here. In fact, if you borrow the same $18,000 from a bank at 7% interest over a 5-year term, you would end up paying $3,385.29 in interest. So this high interest lender is actually $968.29 cheaper. Wait, what? But we haven't actually gotten to the insidious secret yet, so follow along with me. Borrowing $18,000 from this lender, they first remove $820.80 as a platform fee. Basically, this is the commission to the broker. So now your $18,000 loan is really only $17,179.20. Now this is already calculated in the $2,417 in fees, so they're not really trying to hide it, but if you were expecting $18,000, you would be in for a bit of a shock. But once again, this is not really the big problem. In the end, I did take out the loan, figuring it would get my foot in the door and help me build a track record with this lender. At the time, it seemed reasonable for me to eat the $2,400 in fees. Now, the first big difference between the bank lending you $18,000 over 5 years and this lender offering me this same amount is I'm being forced to pay this money back in 6 months. Thus, in this case, $3,048 is going out every single month to pay off this loan, versus only $356 to the bank if I took the 5-year loan. If you have a slow month and money is tight, you still have those weekly payments coming out. With the bank, you have much more flexibility as only $350 is required each month. Of course, if you have a good month, the bank is happy to allow you to pay down your balance, thus saving money on interest with the bank, with the larger payments whenever you can. But you're under no obligation. About 3 months into this loan, the lender comes to me and says, "Hey, Steve, guess what? You've done a great job on this loan so far, and I'm able to get you even more money." He was now offering me a loan for $32,000, which is just less than double what the original loan was. But this still wasn't enough. And I was pretty ticked off because when we first spoke 3 months ago, I told him I was looking for $50,000 to $75,000. So he knew exactly what I needed. So right now he's offering me only $32,000 with, of course, the promise of, "This will help you build a track record, and next loan I can get you even more money." What a complete bait and switch. After a little more discussion, I found out with him that this is actually a refinance of my previous loan. I still owed them $10,000, which should be removed from my loan here. So now this is only a $22,000 loan. But he hasn't even told me the worst part of the deal yet. Because these loans are not calculated based on interest, yes, I told you what the equivalent interest would be, but that's not how they calculate it. So even if you pay it off, you pay the same lender fees. Technically, I was borrowing money and paying fees to repay back their previous fees. So basically, I was paying the high lender fees twice on $10,000 of those dollars. Because the high monthly payment is going out each month, most of the profit that I made from that marketing campaign went directly to paying off this loan each week. If I could have spread those payments out with a traditional lender, I could have reinvested that money back into my business over a 5-year term instead of the very short 6 months. And this is where they really make their money. They lend you a little bit of money, knowing that they're really just putting a rope around your neck. Then they come back a few months later, offering you even more money. But it's just enough money to keep you going. They never lend you enough money to get your business to the next level. Of course, I turned down this second loan from these dirtbags. In the end, I pay them back their money that I owed them over the next 3 months, and I use this as a valuable lesson to myself. Let's go back to present day. This lender that approached me to advertise, I told him about my past experience and that I am not fond of this type of lender. He acknowledged that the industry had some bad players and that they've mostly weeded those guys out. And his company offered a new, very unique way of financing that really helps businesses out. So I listened to him as he told me about their new credit offerings, and we went over a hypothetical business plan. He would lend this business $50,000 in a line of credit that can be used, paid back many times over a 3-year period whenever the business needed to draw money from it. It was interest-based, like a normal small business loan with a bank, so you would be able to pay your interest, pay things off, and save money if you paid your loan quicker. On the surface, it sounds like they've improved their product, right? Well, no. They're still the same wolves in sheep's clothing. The new way that they screw you is by claiming an interest rate of 4%. Then they accidentally forget to tell you that that's per month. Or 48% APR. And that's way worse than the 36% from a few years back. And heck, back then, interest rates were higher. Now, of course, you could say, but they're letting you pay it down quicker without penalty, and because this is a line of credit, you can use it over and over, so it's not really the same thing to compare. Sure. But that's when he then hit me with the other fees. First off, there is a $500 per year annual fee to keep this credit line open. Plus, you must pull $10,000 within the first 7 days of opening it. And it still hasn't even gotten to the bad part yet. The topper of this scam is every time you take money from the loan, in addition to the interest you're paying, there's also a 2% lender fee at that moment. So that $10,000 that you're forced to take within the first week costs you $200, plus, of course, the $500 for the annual lending fee. So even if you paid it back the very next day, you still are out $700. For what? Comparing the two, I would say if you needed money quickly, perhaps to purchase, say, inventory for a confirmed sale that you already have, the line of credit wouldn't be too bad, I guess. But honestly, a line of credit from your bank would be much better. So get that as soon as possible. And I've already showed you in a previous video how easy it is to get this. And then you can kick these dirtbag lenders to the curb. In summary, I don't begrudge lenders for offering a product at high interest rates. If they would just stop there, make their money on the 6 months of interest and move on. It's very good profit for them. What I do have an issue with is them purposefully lying about the loans and how they work, and stringing you along with the prospect of more funding. All the while, they know they're never going to lend you the amount that you really need for your business. In the end, they're just putting you deeper into a financial hole that no matter what, you have to keep going back to them because you have no other choice but to borrow more money from them just to get you above water again. If it wasn't already clear, I turned down the $10,000 in sponsorship money because I just don't trust these companies and I do not want to endorse their scams. Have you ever taken a loan from one of these lenders? Why or why not? Or maybe you are one of these lenders that offers this or similar products. Maybe you can defend the industry. Either way, comment down below and let me know. Also, don't forget to check out www.open4.business and register your business today. As you know, this is the small business awareness campaign that they wanted to advertise on. And myself, along with Aubrey Janik, Jamel Gibbs, Minority Mindset, Investment Joy, Rod Squad, Mark Moss, and others will be flying in a helicopter landing at small businesses across the country. Do you want me to land the helicopter at your office and feature you on this program? Go to the website and register your business now. There are very few spots left, so you need to get registered quickly. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate it, as do Bonnie and Clyde. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.